Yeah, well, property division is probably the most difficult aspect of a family law case, or it could be the simplest if people don't own much property. But assuming they have a complicated estate, you essentially have to value and divide and allocate every single item of property. Some are easier than others. Some you could get formal appraisals, but of course, let's say you're valuing a house, each side's going to hire an appraiser. They're going to value it differently. The court's going to pick one essentially. They're not going to split it down the middle. So that's just an example of value being able to fluctuate tremendously depending on whom you hire, depending on their analysis of the market. But generally speaking, there's not really any trends in case law that I see. It's pretty set in stone that if it's community property, it's divided 50-50. Where the difficulties come in is characterizing it. Is it community property? Is it separate property? Why? What's the value of an asset? Because just two opinions could differ tremendously on that. In terms of business valuations, I think those are very difficult because you tend to see that when you get something valued for a family law case, it's probably going to be less than just what someone would be willing to pay on the market. You try and forecast that. You try and look at various factors of what the business value would be, but it's really hard to capture that without the asset actually being on the market for sale, because even with comparables, each business is different. You don't know who the willing buyers are or if there are any. So it's really difficult to forecast every issue in a property division. And ultimately, it really behooves best parties to kind of meet in the middle, find where their best strengths and weaknesses are as far as their arguments, find where their risks are, and just kind of middle point it and identify what they're each willing to live with, because it's a lot of risk to go into trial. Judges have a lot of discretion. Experts are going to testify to very different values. And it's really hard to forecast where the trial judge is going to end up selecting the value, if it's characterized as separate property versus community property. So to the extent there can be middle ground found, it really behooves the clients to do that and save themselves a lot of legal fees arguing over at a trial when there's a lot of risk on what the final outcome is going to be.